Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to walk you through the quick demo of residential tools developed by IBim Consulting. If you want to watch the full video of these tools, you can go to my website www.ibimconsulting.com.au, go to the tools page and you can see the tools and click residential, and you can click on this YouTube link to watch the full video. Let me go back to Tekla. First, I'm going to start with the frame with base plate. Select the component and pick 2 points, first point and second point. So here you can see, and once you double click and open the properties, you can adjust the height, width, and you can place a beam on top of the column, or it can be connected to the face of the column. And go to the parts, and you have options to connect these two columns with one base plates and stiffener, and the other option is having a single plate which is welded to the base plate and also to these two columns, and you can have two separate base plates. If I go to the parameters, you can add mouse hold, and also you can move the stiffener, and this is for adjusting the top girder bolts, and next is base plate bolts and welds. If you're working on residential projects, this application will be quite useful because you can just pick 2 points to create the whole frame. And next is IBim bolt hole generator. Let me just show you how it works. Just pick the member and pick 2 points to create the holes on the beam. Now you see it creates holes on the top flange, web and bottom flange. Once I double click, it gives options to make changes. See this bolt distribution list: maximum spacing, equal spacing, exact spacing, number of bolts, and staggered. And because the staggered is quite common in residential projects, let me change this one to staggered and click modify. So here you can see. And the reason why I'm using 2 points to create this, because it gives more flexibility and control. For example, I select the member and pick this as my first point and this as my second point. And on the other side, I will follow the same method. Pick the member and pick this as a first point and second point. This can be applied to C section, UB sections, and plate as well. Next, we'll go to this IBim cap plate with stiffener. Select the connection and pick the post and pick the beam. You can see this connection here. The reason why I have the bolt without nut, because at the erection site, you can bring this beam and connect with this post, just adding a nut. When I just select the column and inquire assembly, you can see, because this is the shop bolt which is welded to the cap plate of the post. The next is IBim convert plate. This application will convert the beam plate into contour plate and contour plate into beam plate. If I open this connection properties, you can see there is an option to beam to contour, contour to beam, and both. Let me add the chamfer corners. So I need all the 4 corners to be chamfered, and chamfer type is this. Let me just take these 2 plates. I'm going to use the filter option. And then once I do the cross selection, it selects both the plates, and then click convert selected. Now you can see all the 4 corners are chamfered, and it also converts the bolt or any other part associated to the beam plate to the contour plate. I can also convert this contour plate into beam plate. For example, I'm selecting this one and change this option to contour to beam and convert selected. Can you see this? For chamfers, when you convert the contour plate into beam plate, then it will add a cut. So you can select multiple plates and run this tool. The next option is custom beam with plate. Let me take this beam. Just pick the beam. There you can see. and I'll double click and open the connection properties. This length can be distance or an angle, and you can have left side, right side, or both sides. And you can add stiffness or end plate. Let me change the representation by pressing Shift 4 and Control 4. The stiffener is clashing with the plate. Either I can reduce the distance or I can say cut slope. Let me select and show you. So there you can see. The next is double angle. So pick the member so you can see the angle both at the top and bottom. Once you double click, you have option to offset the distance from the start and an end point, and also you can move inside or outside. The next is base plate. So I'm going to select this member and pick the position and double click and open the properties. So I have some predefined settings. Click modify. It will be very easy for you to change the direction of the plate. For example, if I remove 100 here and then add 100 on the other side, can you see how easy it is to change the base plate? And you can also add chamfers to the plates. You have 6 corners, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let me choose this option here and then say 10 and 10. And then I can type all the numbers 1 to 6. And then select this connection and click modify. Can you see this chamfers here? So I'll take this and modify. So I need to change this option again. So you can see the chamfers. If I go to the bolt, you have option to choose which side of the bolt should be visible, and then you can control both X and Y distance. If you need 2 sets of bolts or 3 sets of bolts, you can type the distance here. The next is lintel plate. Let me select this member. So you can see the lintel plate bottom of the member. Again, you can offset the distance. The next is multiple plates. Let me add multiple plates to this member. So now one is at the start, the other one is at the end. If you need more number of plates, double click and open the connection properties. Type the quantity. So now you have 8, or enter the distance. Next is IBim plate galvanization hole. There are few applications in Tekla, but when you use those applications, you need to pick the primary member and plate a secondary member, and you need to create the galvanization holes for the plates one by one. Whereas with this application, you just pick the multiple plates and system will automatically read the primary member and create holes. Once you double click, let's see the options available. You got 4 holes here, single hole in different position and 2 holes, and cut. Let me just take a hole diameter as 12, that's fine. And then once I click apply, I'm going to cross select the plates and press the middle mouse. You can see this one here. And also you can see the holes on the other plate. Let me just do it for these 2 plates. Again, I select and do the cross selections to pick the plates and press the middle mouse. You can see this one here. And let me just remove this filter option and select the plate. And then you have options to change it. You can also have cut. So here you can see. This gives an option for you to select multiple plates and create the galvanization holes. Once it is done, then you can change the components separately. Next is seating angle. Let me just select this and pick the C section. You can see the angle both at the start and end, and double click and open the connection properties. This will also add a hole on primary member. But if you don't want to, yes, you have option to change it. And again, you can type the number of seating angle that you need, or you can enter the distance. So this seating plate, it also works similar way. For example, let me just pick this and double click and open the properties. Let me type I need 10. There you can see, or let me change this to 600 distance. Here you can see. The next is seating plate with stub. I'm going to create this connection to these members. Pick the primary and pick the secondary. So there you can see. And I don't see any gap between these two plates, not enough gap for the hollow section. That's okay. Let me just create first and then open the connection properties, because I don't need a hollow section or post. So I'll come back and say no, and this will remove the small post there. You can add chamfer. Select and modify this. You can see the chamfer. The next is IBim upstand plate. This connection can be used to connect to the post and the timber beam or steel sections. Okay, I'm going to apply here. I pick the post and pick the member. So then you double click and open the properties and change this to far side and modify this. You can add number of holes. You can also offset in both X and Y direction using this inbuilt function. So this is the timber section. So there you can see. The next is timber plate. This can be applied to both column and beam. Let me select the column and pick the position. And then double click and open the properties. You can have both the sides, and then if you go to the column picture, you can select these options so that it will create all the 4 sides. So to create this one to the beam, change this option to beam, apply an OK, and then select the steel section and pick the position. Double click and open the properties. You can say you need either near side or far side. And modify this. So this connection again will be very useful if you have to create only the cleat in the model for connecting the timber with steel section. This is the part 1 video, and part 2 video I will be covering checking and drawing applications. If you have any specific question, feel free to get in touch with me, and thank you for watching this video.